Anthony Edwards.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm very good.
Great.
Scoot forward just a little tiny bit.
Forward.
There we
I'm
go.
rubbing
Yeah,
on that
there we
thing
go.
there,
Okay, so we'll do the introduction again for YouTube. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'll leave it on there.
You
Houston. I live in Houston.
Really?
That's where I live, yeah.
Amazing. I
It's
did
wonderful.
not know that.
I do.
For some reason, I had in my mind that you didn't live in Modesto, but I wasn't quite sure exactly
Well, I lived in
where it was.
Modesto since '79, and then about 10, 11 years ago, I moved out to Houston. So.
How do you like it out there?
You know, I really like it. I'm fortunate to be on a little bit of land, and it's very quiet, and I can make all the racket and noise I want to, which is...
Speaking of racket, you're a musician, huh?
I know, it's great. I can play loud and late, and nobody cares.
Did you bring your guitar?
I didn't.
Oh!
I'm so sorry.
So you're going to sing us off the air tonight, huh?
Maybe not. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll have Kurt hold up the cue cards
That'd
for
be
you.
great, yeah.
You are here to talk to us this evening specifically about your book.
Correct.
Because in addition to being a tenured, if I can use Douglas's word there, musician in the Central Valley, you are recently a published author.
Correct.
And your book can be found on Smashwords.
On Smashwords and also on Bibliocracy, which is a new...
that's a new one.
It's kind of a new website. It
Uh-huh.
hasn't been around very long, but it just got picked up on that last night, so I'm really excited
Sweet.
about that. And it's on the Apple iBookstore, and it's on Barnes and Nobles as well. So there's a couple of different things. Yeah, it's really cool. I hope it.
That is
If it
really,
sells, that'll be great. Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
I bet. Now, right now, it's in the internet form.
It is only in the internet form.
Okay.
We don't have any published actual hard copies yet, but that's coming along soon.
The name of your book is
The Pelican King.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, The Pelican King is a story I started to write about, gosh, maybe 15 years ago, 10, 15 years ago. And I had attempted many novels in the past. I tried to, I'd sit down and I'd write the beginning of a story or the middle of a story. And I thought, I'm going to write a book. So I sat down and I just started to type. I think maybe I'd been inspired by something somebody said on TV. If you just write for the garbage can, just sit there and write, And so I began to write, and the story began to unfold. And as it began to unfold, both in my imagination and on paper, life happened. And so there was a few years where I didn't finish it. But then over the last couple of years, life has not only been great to me, but I've had the time and the wherewithal to be able to sit and finish it. And so I did. And so at the end of last year, I sat down and finished the novel, and it was very rewarding to do. At that point, I didn't care if it ever got published. I just finally finished it. It was a wonderful experience.
It's nice typing the letters at the end.
It is. Am I sure this is the end? I could do this too, yeah.
Yeah, there was a producer, I can't remember now who it was. It was the last Lord of the Rings. It was like, it's the end. No, not quite. Not really, just kidding.
Right, yeah.
Now it is not really. We're going to go on another 3 hours. So
the end of the novel does leave it open for the potential
don't
of
tell
a
me that. I
follow-up
haven't got to
story.
the end yet.
Oh, we have to get to the end. I think everybody's novel does, but I did start writing another novel already, so I'm, as I have time, working on that project as well. So.
Now, the Pelican King is
Yes.
set in what?
It's set in the 1700s, late 16, early 1700s. It's not specific. Doesn't give a specific date, but it's that general time period when the seafarers of old sailed the seas. And it's the story of one particular man who, for one reason or another, parts with his ship and finds himself on this island where there's an island king and the king's son. And the story really follows the king's son as the main title character and his interaction about learning to live and be an adult and find favor in his father's eyes and his love's eyes, and how this other character brings the old world into the new world and becomes part of that. And then it all unfolds from there. So.
And your second book, is it going to be a continuation of the Pelican King?
The second book is not. The second book, the title so far is called Ned. And the reason I called it that, I grew up in Australia. You know that. I'm an Australian. And
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Sydney, and my family immigrated.
You're kidding me,
no,
right?
No, I'm serious. My family immigrated to the United States in 1979.
I think he's kidding.
I'm not kidding. And so, part of my heritage and culture is the Australian outlaw called Ned Kelly. And Ned Kelly was this great Irish-born outlaw that kind of the Australian version of a Robin Hood. And so I've always been in love with that story. It's not a romantic story, but it's definitely a story. And I've kind of taken that idea and put it into a more modern type of settings. So
Wow.
it's unfolding as it goes.
You have to come
I
on
can't
TV.
wait to see how it ends.
You
know?
have to come on TV more often. Every time you come here, I learn something new
Really?
about you. Yes.
You didn't know that? I always thought
No,
you knew
no.
that.
You don't look Australian.
I don't look Australian?
You don't sound Australian.
Well, you know, I moved here in '79 with my family, and then I went into the service in 1983. And so I've lived in Kentucky and New York and Tennessee
Okay.
and California, and I was young. I was 14 when I moved here, so I lost my accent. My dad has it still. My mom both have thick accents.
Well, getting back to your
Sure.
book, the story between the son and the father.
The father, yes.
Was that based on something in your own life?
You know, I'm sure Kurt will attest, as a musician, when you write, and you too, when you write something, it's always based on something. You know, I have characters in my book whose names are based on real names, whose personalities are bits and pieces of other people's personalities, probably just in the same way. The best way to answer that, I think, is if you're reading a book that you've never read, and that character that you're reading about, a personality trait of that character reminds you of somebody, in the same way, when I'm developing a character, there's character traits that are pulled from my own personal experience, like in a song that I might write, or in a book, or a poem, or something. It's all based on somebody somewhere, or some experience. You know?
I'll look for my character in your book.
In the next one?
Yeah. Out there in the outback of Australia.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I'll try
yeah.
to develop my Australian accent.
I'll
before
try not
next
to
time you-
develop some torturous, miserable death for that character.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Where can we find, again, your book?
Okay.
Besides smashwords.com, which, by the way, is very easily downloaded.
Isn't that a cool website?
Yes,
That is
yes.
that's been a big help for me. It's also on Bibliocracy, so it's on that website as well. And then, of course, you can go into a Barnes and Nobles to their, I think it's called Nook Book,
Oh, okay.
and you can type the name of the book in the computer, and it pulls it up, and you can download it from there as well. So
And the cost is very affordable.
it's
too.
$2.99. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cheap. Yeah. Well, I don't have any publishing costs, you know, so there's no printing costs, I should say.
When is it going to go to hardcover?
When I figure out how I want to address that and do that, whether I want to go to paperback or not, and those decisions will be based on the next 6 months of sales and see. You know, I do have some friends who have gone the self-publishing route and paid a lot of money and had thousands of copies of books they've ended up giving away. And from a business standpoint, I'd like to avoid that if possible. So see if it pays for itself, then it can be a hard copy.
The graphics on the cover
Mhm.
of the book
Yes.
is actually it's quite nice.
Thank you.
I like that. Did you
I
design
did.
that? That is very. Are you an artist too?
Well, a little bit, but
Surprise!
yeah, surprise.
It's very good.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah,
thanks.
I like it, and I hope that you.
It's all
keep-
photoshopped, you know. Thank you.
Oh,
Sorry.
I thought you did like pen and ink.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I'm not that. Not that.
I was going to say you need to talk to Jim Christensen about getting on that open artist studio.
You know, I
tour
have a
next
bunch of
year.
my oil paintings I did years ago. I've always wanted to take that up again. I did that for a long time. And I did stained glass as well. So.
Well,
A
I
little
know
bit
an art
artistic.
teacher who's currently unemployed, so.
Yeah, really?
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
Well, I hope that
You
you
need supplies?
I have
supplies.
I have plenty of supplies. I just need students. I hope that you keep that. And for those of you who have not seen the cover of the book yet, I highly suggest you going to Smashwords.
That's
I have a
very
hard time
kind.
saying that sometimes.
It is, yes.
Smashwords.com, because it does have the picture of the front of the book on
It does,
there.
yeah.
And I forgot to print it out, but I was going to print it out and bring it tonight so you could sign it for me, so I'd have an autographed
Oh,
copy.
that's very
So
I'll have to give you a manuscript. I'll sign a manuscript.
that would be great.
Oh, stop. All right, fine.
And I have to wish you happy birthday too.
Thank you. Sunday was my birthday. yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
I
that was
21.
very nice.
Yeah.
And you're a comedian.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
You know, this time we've talked about your book and a little bit with
Mhm.
music. Next time you come on, I would like to really talk about the mechanics of the Modesto music scene.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah, so just to prepare you for that. And we have about 1.5 or 2 minutes left before we need to sign off tonight. But can you give us a synopsis of what's going on with the music scene in downtown Modesto or even around Modesto?
Well, thank you for putting me on the spot. That's a lovely question. Let's see, I have a minute and a half, right? The other guy got 30 seconds. Can I have this 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm down to about a minute, right?
Right.
Okay. You know, the music scene has always been a challenging thing because no musician, I believe, should work for free. I don't think that should be the case. With the exception to that, if you got your guitar at Guitar Center yesterday and mommy and daddy tell you you're wonderful, you're not going to get paid right away. I think that goes without saying. But I think anybody that's taken the time to learn and practice and hone their craft and chooses to use that as a skill by where they entertain, you know, the public, then I think they should absolutely be paid. And I think not just in Modesto, but in probably every town I know I've ever been to, the perception is that it's devalued. That the performing musician, oh, they'll just play for tips. Oh, they'll just play for dinner. Oh, they'll play for the my enemy word, exposure, you know. And it's such an unfair way to treat somebody who can do something most people cannot, you know. And whether it's a learned skill or a born talent, you know, I think it should be rewarded. So in Modesto, there's been folks that have tried to help or hinder, depending on how you want to look at it, that process. And I think we'll save it for another day, but I think it's an ever-changing landscape. And I think it is changing. And I think I'm seeing, with your input certainly and your help, and your advocacy, I should say, people are starting to put their foot down a little bit. And
with
say,
a protest sign?
Yeah, with a protest sign, and, you know, I'm not playing for free, you know. Can I come in and try your restaurant for free? You know?
Exactly.
If I like it, I'll give you some word of mouth, and you get some exposure.
Right.
You know? Yeah, no. So, hopefully it changes to a point where musicians can earn a living.
That would be nice.
That would be
because
wonderful.
At one point in time, not that long ago, musicians could earn a living.
They could.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but for now, you are earning a little bit, maybe not a living yet, but I see it in your near future as an author.
I certainly hope so. That would be nice.
Yes. So again, Pelican King?
The Pelican King, yes.
Okay.
Look for it on Smashwords and Bibliography. I can't even say it yet. It's harder than Smashwords. Bibliography. That's it.
Yeah, so when you call in and talk about it, I'll let you say that word.
Okay, fine.
I'm still
Sounds
struggling
good.
with the other one. And Barnes & Noble for the for the Nook.
Right.
Yes, very good. Anthony Edwards, where can we find you on
I'm on Facebook? Or you can email me at ajecolony.com. Love to hear from you.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
It'll be on a big screen. You'll see it.
Yeah. I'll put it on the YouTube play.
It's on Facebook. Look for me on Facebook.
Very good.
Thank you,
and
Athens.
happy birthday again.
Thank you very much.